Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, you guys, and I know. So long, so here. Where have I been? I've been working on a refinance of a property that, for some odd reason, it was just things that were just popping up throughout the process of this property that caused a few delays, but we got over it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest things I want to point out to you guys that I learned in the process of this property is title search. You know what I'm saying? Title search and title insurance being your biggest things. And a lot of people, they expect title, which is where, when you're finally closing your house to take care of all your paperwork and all your due diligence. But sometimes they fall short as well. And this was actually a rare unicorn that actually took place. In my case, it was one of the rarities that took place. But pretty much what took place was, when we was about to refinance the house, the new title company that we had found some taxes from the previous year of this property, that we already owned. So we already bought the property last year. We were refinancing it. And previous taxes of the property was on 2024, 2023. It was about $7,500 worth of taxes unpaid. And we couldn't close in time. You know what I'm saying? Our closing date got pushed back. And luckily, we were speaking to the lender and keeping them informed about what was going on because everybody was so shocked. Like, how could this house owe taxes? And this was already the previous year before you bought the house. So we went ahead and tried to get in contact with the title agency that helped us close the house the first time. And all of a sudden, they're not even in business. You know what I'm saying? And when I say they're not in business, I even went to the main office here in Atlanta. And I was looking for them, and there's nobody in there. I went to the receptionist, and she said, no, they haven't been here for a while, and other people have been coming here saying the same thing, looking for them, and we can't really give them no direction. So I was a little shocked because I was like, well, these people are responsible for getting me getting this situated. They was like, well, we don't have any clue. So I called, the numbers I seen on the website, and for some reason, numbers not working, no one's picking up. And we ended up emailing them about 10 times just to document, us trying pretty much. So I couldn't even find out where the title insurance was. You know what I'm saying? Me and my sister ended up brainstorming. She was able to find it in the disclosure packet that we got, the settlement packet, and we was able to find the policy. And that's why I'm emphasizing to you guys to always make sure before you close on a home, you have the policy, right? The policy is both included with the Schedule A and Schedule B exhibit, right? These are going to be two important documents and sections they're going to need because Schedule A and B allows you to identify the parcel, let you know the right parcel numbers on there, as well as the coverage of the home. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the address is right. The LLC is correct. The borrower's name is perfect. This underwriter is there as well. And everything is just attached along with the settlement statement because you can't submit a claim without a settlement statement. And this is things I'm just finding out going through this process. So in order to have a successful title insurance, meaning if you went through a problem where you're saying, hey, this house owns taxes or, there's a dispute on who owns the house, then title insurance gets involved because they have the previous paperwork that was submitted when the house was bought, exchanged, transferred, however you want to call it. They have that paperwork, and title insurance stays with the property until someone else buys it, right? So it doesn't matter if your kids have it, you move out, it's still that same title insurance that has to honor that. You know what I'm saying? If you paid for it, which most likely you will have to at closing, you will have protection. And in this case, this title insurance requested some additional documentation that we had, thankfully. But this documentation had to be scoured through. I'm talking about pieces and piles of paper because, we initially thought the title agency would be taking care of something like this, but we were wrong. You know what I'm saying? It seems like something happened internally that they're no longer in business. So obviously, me calling the title insurance toll-free number, I hate calling toll-free numbers, you guys. I mean, those numbers are just redundant. Like, I hate them. I hate looking at them. I just feel like you calling them don't really get nothing through, or it's not something that encourages people to call. You know what I'm saying? It's like a psychological thing. But honestly, when I went ahead and made that move of calling title insurance, I couldn't even get in contact with anybody, right? But luckily, I was able to research more and find and discover, the website, and my sister found the actual location that they have here in Atlanta. They have a corporate building. So that was a perfect thing because now I was able to not only show up in person, but also had a few more follow-ups I could have obviously did just in case, which I did do. But this is where it gets beautiful, you guys. Sometimes people will try to deter you because when I did make it to the title insurance company, because I couldn't get in contact with anybody on the phone, apparently I couldn't go up there. But that wasn't the case because I said a quick prayer and I told God I'm going to get it done today and it's going to get done and I'm not going to leave until this gets resolved. Because you guys have to understand, if I'm closing on the property and the taxes are owed, I'm not looking to take care of that because that's what the title agency is there for, to make sure no taxes are owed on the tax when you first bought it, right? And you can't even sell a house with taxes on it, you got to pay it. So all that comes out at closing. So this was something that was overlapped and overseen. I had an obligation, a moral obligation, to make sure the title agency does their work. And, I appreciate them because they did an amazing job just working through the process, being patient with me, understanding the timeline on things, and just understanding this was something that was, like I said, a mistake. So I went up there, man, and the security guard, they kind of told me I can't go up there. I'm going to get escorted off the property. So I waited a few minutes and I came back around and there was another security guard up there, a dude. And he was able to be a little bit more compassionate with what was going on. So he kind of told the young lady, listen, I'm going to go take him up there and I'll be back down. So he took me up there and, I had a suit on and I was just pretty much prepared. I had my evidence, my packet, my claims packet together and all that good stuff, which luckily I did because at the end of the day, because they did ask for more information, but that gave them a little overview about everything that was taken on and the evidence of us trying to reach out to them. Now, with that being said, when I got up there, it was like God was really put everybody into position. It was empty, office empty. We didn't go back down to the elevator. We sat up there for like a minute or so, and a young lady came around the corner and was like, oh, hey, and we was like, oh, perfect. And she actually worked for the insurance company. So we got the information over to her. I got her information. I followed up, and another person who I called earlier, when I couldn't get into the building, ended up returning my call and told me, hey, listen, send me over the information. I was like, yes, the young lady up there has it. I was able to contact her and get in contact, and, I CC'd both of them on that. And that just escalated into more and more things, into us getting to the claims specialist within 3 days, within 2 days, to be honest, because, we just escalated through different management and they kind of understood like, hey, I'm here working, this young man, he's here working. Let's all just get this done. And it's a beautiful experience when you could articulate yourself and communicate through different ways and wonders, because that is a very secure corporate building. I should not even be able to get up there. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I should not even be able to get up there. You know what I'm saying? So for me to get up there, for me to see this side of things, for me to see how things are operating and how a nice suit and tie and a nice gesture and a nice communication skills could take you so far. I understand the power of the tongue. You know what I'm saying? So I took it to my advance to go ahead and communicate how I communicate when I'm selling a house or when I'm buying a house. I'm going to put my best foot forward. And that's what took place. And that's what allowed me to get up there. And that's what allowed me to continuously get through the different areas of management to get to my claims specialist. Because if that place was somewhere else, I would not be able to get in contact with anybody. I honestly would have drove to that place if I had to find out who was responsible for this, because I would have had to get it done. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I appreciate them. I appreciate everybody who was a part of the deal, who gave me the lesson, what I learned as well, because as I told you guys before, whenever you're signing your loan documents, you want to make sure your policy number is there. You want to make sure your reference number is there. You want to make sure your title insurance name is there, the company. You want to make sure it's signed by both the title insurance underwriter and the loan signing agent. You know what I'm saying? It should be a stamp automatically there with the policy number, with the toll-free number, and on that same packet, you will have the claim number as well somewhere in the back. But I was just too frantic. It was a lot of paperwork. I didn't end up seeing that to the last minute, but I found that number still online. So that's another thing as well. Just type the name of the title insurance and you will find the information. Getting to someone could be a bigger ordeal now if you're getting title insurance or if the underwriter has title insurance in another state. So that could be a bit of a problem if you run into that down the line. So always ask your title insurance, hey, do you have title insurance within the state? Because if you have to run up to that place just in case something happens, you want to make sure that's in arm's reach. You know what I'm saying? Even though you could take a flight somewhere, but I'm just keeping it real with you guys. And that was one of the things I just realized was the most important, out of the whole deal, was paperwork. And a lot of people always think that it's the numbers that have to make sense, but no, it's paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Because paperwork allows you to backtrace your steps, find errors, and also just build a better plan and solidify it for the future. So me learning this, I was able to understand there's a process to everything. But as long as you communicate through correct chains of commands, and you're also diligent and persistent, and you're following up your calling, and you're doing everything that will make their life easier, pretty much what I did, put together a packet, what's going to happen is you're going to build a tolerance for stress. You're going to build a tolerance for mediocre behavior. You know what I'm saying? Because the mediocrity lies within that person. So if a person does something always and always and always, and no one ever corrects that bad behavior, they fall into mediocrity. But I'm always the person who's correcting bad behavior, so I don't try to follow to mediocrity, right? I try to fall above it, which is exceptional. So when I'm doing things, I'm always trying to do it to the most exceptional peak. You know what I'm saying? So I came there with the best looking suit. I came in there with everything I knew that will allow me to walk through the door, even though they asked me 10 times, what are you doing here? You know you can't live here. You know you can't come here. You know you can't go upstairs. Why are you going upstairs? Did you try to call? Who are you supposed to? I'm like, listen, I'm not into this game. I'm not into 21 questions. I'm into getting upstairs, all right? If you can't help me find someone who can, and I told her exactly like that. I said, if you can't help me find someone who can. And I think that's her boss that ended up being on there when I came back around the second time because I couldn't find parking. Horrible parking. It was like, I'm going to tell you guys one thing. When you're in a pursuit of goals, when you're in a pursuit of happiness, when you're in a pursuit of success, you're going to run into so many obstacles. You run into bullshit. You're going to run into naysayers. You're going to run into people who have their own opinion. And you're going to run into things that are deliberately placed to see if you're going to move around it and how you're going to react to it. And God has funny ways of putting certain things in your life to see how you're going to react. Are you going to give up or are you going to say, fuck it? He has to see how bad you want this shit. And you have to make promises to him that you want him to keep. And he has to see that if you really want this promise, you got to deliver on your end of the stick, right? Some people can't really see it like that. They see it like, oh, this bad shit happened, man, fuck it. And I'm like, no, that's a beautiful experience you just experienced. You learned not how to get fucked over. You know what I'm saying? You learn how to prepare better next time. You learn how to understand without responding. You want to really understand. You want to really comprehend things before rushing into things. And these things were just all lessons that I was learning. You know what I'm saying? Don't take nobody's word for face value. Don't work with people who are incompetent. Don't work with people who is always looking at your money and not your heart. Don't work with people who has bad intentions from the beginning and you still trying to make excuses for them. You know what I'm saying? So in this particular situation, the only thing I can say is you cannot rely on other people to do your work. You have to be the person who just always cross-examine, even though it takes you an hour or 2 hours. Deliver yourself from the stress of knowing that you didn't read over your loan documents. You know what I'm saying? At least I knew I skimmed through it and I looked at the interest rate, which is the most important thing. Your monthly payment, which you want to make sure is on there. You want to see what your mortgage type is. Is it a 30-year? Is it a 15-year? You know, because a 15-year mortgage is going to be a lot higher than a 30-year because you're trying to pay it off in half the time. So you got to make sure everything's right. If it's an FHA, what is it? Or if it's a conventional. So you got to make sure they have the right loan type because that's the amount of money, the percentage you have to put down. You don't want them putting nothing wrong in there. As well as, excuse me, guys. As well as spelling your name correctly, you know, your LLC name correctly, and everything you just want to make sure you have. You know what I'm saying? Be able to get in contact with the insurance company, make sure that's the right lender, make sure, you know, you check the settlement statement and, you know, all those payments that you're paying out to people make sense. You know what I'm saying? So what I'll tell you guys all the time is don't focus on closing a deal so fast. Focus on the due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Focus on what's old on the house. Focus on, can you build on this land? Focus on the area. Focus on the feel for the home, and continuously work on, work on understanding the home. Work on really feeling the home, really getting into the mode of the home. But I appreciate you guys for listening because, like I said, I've been working on this deal for so long, and I didn't document the journey, but I am going to be dropping a food drop for the homeless. I'm doing that in the month just to give back to Atlanta and everybody else who appreciated my journey, and to set an example. If you're really getting money, don't tell me. Go show the community. Go feed people. Because that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to go ahead and feed people's stomachs. Put some good music up in the air. Put some good vibes in people's food. And I'm about to just go ahead and go down. I'm just working on some permits right now and getting APD secured. And just having everything lined up so it could be a very successful event. And who knows, I'll probably do this every 3 months, every 6 months, try to get the community as much involved as possible, commissioners and mayors. But this is something I do want to give back just for the people who may not have that meal on a Wednesday night or that Saturday night. Giving back to those who want to take care of themselves, but right now life's been hard. So that's the way I want to give back. I always told you guys I have some philanthropy in me. I kind of always give back every other time, like privately, every weekend to food shelters. But this time, this is more so of a community advancement and development project that I'm looking to actually create and, take forward with. So I'm prideful of it. I'm happy. I'm excited. And like I told you guys before, it's always about what you do with the money. You get, do you spend it on bullshit? Do you reinvest it? Do you give it away? Whatever you do, just make sure you're putting the energy behind it to get it back. And, we're not perfect. We're human. We make mistakes all the time. God also delivered people from the worst of the situations that they were in, as well as people who weren't the quote unquote best people in society. He made them into disciples and he made them into the most trusted men. So I don't believe in people who say they can't do certain things. I believe everybody could do it. I believe everybody could turn their life around. This is what I'm speaking about when I'm throwing the food shelter, letting them know, hey, listen, you guys are homeless, but you guys are not stupid. Let's cut the bullshit. We're doing this for you guys, but we're also going to be real. But I'm also going to show them love and compassion, letting them know at the end of the day, we have people that care about you. You have family, you have the community, you have programs. It's only up to you to really take advantage and move forward with your life and understand it's not going to be something that turns around quickly, but it is something around something that will turn around guaranteed if you stay at it. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Balance podcast. You guys will be seeing that commercial going up. Like I said, I've been low key out the way, haven't posted a photo or video in 2 years on Instagram. It's really just been me and God in isolation just working. But, they freed the monster, man. I done got up out that damn hole I've been in. I wasn't even in a hole. I was just in a place in my life where I just felt like things were just, I was going through a lot of tests and I was battle tested. But I walked through the battlefield and I got through it. I got little scars and scratches. I bumped my head a few times, fell on my ass a few times. But I'm back up. That's something that they really can't say. It's something that they really can't say shit about me about. So I really appreciate you guys for listening to the Rolling Billions podcast. It's about building wealth. It's about taking things to the next level. It's about just doing things in big amounts, huge amounts, and being appreciative of it. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Rolling Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey. You guys take care. You have people who actually do believe in you, who actually rock with you. And I don't ever talk to these people all the time. So for these people to say that to me, you know, I'm not going to lie, it means a lot. So I definitely appreciate you guys, and continue to listen to yourself, and, you know, follow the other episodes and rate and review the podcast. If you have any questions, be free to DM me. Thank you.